Hello, my friends, and welcome to Secure and Insecure podcast, hosted by me, Johnny Seifert. This is a celebrity mental health podcast that I say it's okay to not be okay. And if you have the same match as me, whether you're watching or listening, click that subscribe button, leave a 5-star rating and a review, and let's keep spreading the word it's okay to not be okay. Now, today I've got two guests for you, and you're going to absolutely love them. They're dancers, they're Flint investors, they're veteran reality stars, and stars of Hollyoaks. They're about to embark on a tour around the UK, singing your favourite songs from Moulin Rouge with their new show, Come What May. So without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome to Secure and Insecure. It's the Pritchard boys, it's AJ and Curtis. Hello, boys.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you both doing?
Yeah, good,
Yeah,
thank you,
we're good.
actually. You know what? I've got to say the weather's been fabulous. And I always say when the sun's shining, for some reason, it always puts a smile on my face and it just makes me feel, ready to take on the day.
Well, that's because both of you are in love right now. You've both got girlfriends, all new relationships. And with Zara for you and with Sophie for you, it
Yeah.
just means that when you're out in the sunshine, you're taking your pictures and your videos, that dopamine hits are there and we're loving it.
I'm loving it as well. I always say, make sure you put your suntan lotion on, guys, protect your skin from the sun and the longevity of things. But I have never been so brown in my life. I was in Portugal, 44 degrees, and I had the most beautiful time. I really, really did.
See, that's too. I did 36 in Croatia and I was dripping in sweat and I was like, that's peak. I know that I need to put my sunscreen on because I'm sweating right now, but 44, that's kind of too much as outside, isn't it?
You know what
So
it
what,
is?
you're in the sun all day?
I
No, you can't be. It's too hot.
No, well, to be fair, I can't lie. Just a week before going to Portugal, I was in St. Lucia, and that was also 33 degrees. But that was humid. It was 95% humidity. I found that worse than the heat in Portugal because once you step out your air conditioning room, you basically are hit by a wall of sweat. And that I'm a sweater, so I really struggled.
You're really not selling this.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you want to go to St. Lucia and then you want to go to Portugal the next week, get into Flint investing and invest your money, and then you have all the money to spend on it. That's basically what you're trying to get to.
Exactly.
How has it been for both of you? Because look, we're not going to talk about everything that happened with Strictly, but I want to know about the mental health perspective for both of you, looking at the news and trying to steer away from it. Were you able to enjoy your holiday without thinking, there's this big scandal going on and I just want to stay right away from it? We're not talking about what actually happens, but just the overall news about it at the moment.
I think in the world that we live in, there's so much going on, and for me, actually, on holiday, it was nice just to be able to just step away and focus on myself and actually think about me, because I always find, and I think everyone should do this a lot more, linking back to mental health, they should focus on themselves. And they should actually be a little bit selfish here and there. And I don't mean be selfish and never talk to anybody else or do anything else that anybody else wants to do. But think about what your body's telling you. Are you tired? Are you stressed out? Are you looking for something else? Think about what your body is telling you and go with it. If you're hungry, eat some food. If you're tired, try and sleep. Use some periods of a week here and there to really focus on yourself. And that's what I've done through holiday. Is focus on myself, recuperate myself, and reground myself. So then when I come back into the madness of what's going on in the world and all of our jobs that we're doing and the different stories you're reading about and the programs that you've been involved in. Therefore, then you're coming at it from a level-headed and grounded position. So then you can take on board everything that's going on and not let it affect you in a negative manner.
The mentality would be like, okay, you work in the entertainment industry and the press are going to say what they're going to say about different aspects. But when I step back now and we look at the aspect of social media, I think what's really hard is even if you're not somebody who has a public profile, having a phone and having that with you 24/7 and knowing that whether it's like a child being at school and they're with their friends and you would usually leave that school at school, like if there's silliness or whatever. But when you bring that phone back home into your private, your protected area, you feel like you're not actually as protected because you've always got that battery of the phone, the information, the comments, the social media. And I think that's something that people need to prepare their kids for moving forward. And especially if you're in the entertainment industry, understand that that is part and parcel of it, but being strong enough to be able to say, well, actually, whether that be simple things like when I was on Strictly, I would never ever reply to somebody if I didn't know them, whether that be if it pops up in like a message, or I would never read comments. It's something that I would just do that would protect me in my aspect. Sometimes it's sad because yes, there are so many beautiful, loving, great messages, but you always remember the one out of the thousand. It's always like, okay, That's not the nicest thing. A bit unnecessary. That's the human nature of our psychology. And I think something that's crazy is like everything we do now is always with you 24/7. And I'm somebody who's like, whether it be business, work, pleasure, like always go, go, go. I can't switch my brain off, which is great for when we're doing positive things. But sometimes on the negative side, it's like it's quite hard to be like, okay, I'm gonna put my phone down for a day because I feel like I have an obligation to keep on top of emails, messages, whatever it may be. And the world never stops, whether we kind of in the UK or time zone. Suddenly right now I know that LA is waking up and the American time zone wakes up then, and New York, and then suddenly it goes back to London. So when you're doing worldwide business, it's like, oh my God, we're always switched on now.
Well, especially with working from home as well since COVID, what happens is that this safe space, so for me, this table, which is where I eat my dinner at and I might chill with a friend, or a sofa that I might work at, that's being invaded because if I'm getting a message at 10 p.m. at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, that's my safe space. And yet, you're right, it's come through to my phone. And yeah, we could all have a work phone and a personal phone, but I think what's happened is there's no stoppage where you've gone, right, you guys have this phone number, you guys have that phone number. Now everyone's got my phone number. If I swap it, then that causes anarchy with everything else. And so you're right, it's really hard to switch off. But taking your step away is really important. I just went on a solo holiday for myself for a week and I loved it. And I love just taking that absolute break. But you're right, then what happens is you come back and it's just chaos. And then you're going, oh, did I really have a holiday? And actually, I need a break now before then. So what are your cope mechanisms when you're in the country? So not when you're in St. Lucia and Portugal and all around the world relaxing, but when you're actually in the thick of it, what are your cope mechanisms to go, right, phone's out of sight, but mentally I'm going to either journal or I'm going to talk to a friend or I'm going to call the Samaritans. What for you works of just dealing with that stress?
If something comes in, whether it be work, email, or respond to a friend or something, I do it then. I don't let it sit. I do it. The list never piles up, because if there's a list piling up, I get stressed. So whether I'm 24/7, I reply to it. That is also not healthy for a lot of people, but it works for me.
But also, is that your OCD that you need to have everything lined up? Just those that don't know.
I can't allow to see like emails like, oh my God, I can see there's 10 email responses, or I need to reply to 10 WhatsApps or whatever it may be. Because if I leave it for 2 or 3 days, that 10 will turn into 200 very quickly. And I can't do that. But then on the other aspect of thing, for me, it's about physically working out. I've trained my body through my dancing to train 10 hours a day for the whole of my life. So if I don't go to the gym for an hour a day or go for a run or whatever it may be, therefore I feel like I haven't released that energy and I can't then get on with what I need to do. So for me, physical exercise is something very important. And without that, I would definitely struggle.
And I want to talk about your sense of belonging because you're very similar in age and you've grown up together. And we know, obviously you went on different paths with Strictly and Dancing with the Stars, but you've kind of in the past couple of years come back together with all your business adventures together. So take me back to the beginning. What was life like for you and Stoke-on-Trent growing up together?
So our dad was an ex-world champion dancer. He trained us to dance when we started dancing. But before that, as kids, we always got pushed into extreme sports and building dens in the garden or just doing, I'm going to say being kids and just having fun. And we always did that together. We were always out and about trying to explore, trying to do things, trying to grow as people, even like from a tiny age.
Problem solving. Yeah. Like our parents wouldn't be too like, that sounds weird, but not be protective. It's like, go get dirty, go get muddy, go like do stuff. Like that's the best way for children to learn.
Their element was injure yourself in a safe environment. Our dad wouldn't ever take his eyes off us, but he would allow us to do some slightly extreme things, which I think is great as a kid because you're a sponge at that age. So don't be afraid to let your kids go out and try things, push themselves to the limit. If they fall over, they're kids, they're made of rubber at that age. They'll get back up. If they have a broken bone, it's not the end of the world. You learn from it and you grow as a kid. And I think they're the best times for kids to be able to actually injure themselves in a safe environment. And that's what our parents allowed us to do. We were competitive. We threw each other into everything and we pushed each other at everything, but we always had each other's back as well. That was our sort of growing up mindset, really.
And how did that affect you at school? Because obviously, if your dad being a world champion when it came to dance at home, dance is obviously very, very important. But at school, as two straight guys navigating themselves and trying to work out who they are, dance comes in, 12 years old, you're finding out who you are, you're going through puberty, and then everyone started to make comments, and everyone's going, well, look, that's seen as a female-led thing, you know, and obviously now we've got female football and male dances, and it's a lot more normalized. But how was it for you growing up in those early noughties when it wasn't like that?
Truthfully, for me, it wasn't bad at all. We were very strong in how we were brought up from young kids. We were told, go out there and do it. Don't be afraid of it. If you're going to do something, do it properly from the start. And I think that builds you up in a very strong mental attitude.
There's one simple point within our school. Our school, we had a very sporty school and very academic when I think about it, to be honest. But if we were going to go and dance like we always did, I would still be probably one of the strongest and probably most aggressive players in rugby at the same time. So if you're going to mess with us on that side, you're probably going to get the repercussions when we're playing rugby or basketball or football. So whatever we did was always hand in hand. And I think something that was really important was we were in an environment where, well, if they're going to say something, well, okay, you're going to say something that's not going to affect us. Like, we're going to go and represent our country at the end of the year in our skill and in what we've trained ourselves to do.
I think, to be fair, our mum and dad were very straight to the point in what they said anyway. So even if we were dancing and it actually wasn't good enough, they'd say, guys, that's not good enough. So you need to work a little bit harder or do that a little bit better, and we need to push it a bit better. And I think doing that, not too much, but doing that on the right amount actually helps your kid grow up with a lot of resilience. And that definitely worked for us. And like AJ said, then if people said something, look, say it, it's words, it's not going to affect us. We know what we're doing it at a high level and we enjoy doing it. So we're going to continue doing it and just show you that, look, you're going to a party now, maybe it's your best friend's party, we're going to represent England in the Worlds. So once you get to that level, actually, their words can't really say anything because you can just say something back to them.
And their opinion then changes very quickly. Yeah, I think that's something that it's like, yes, words do affect people. I think that is important to say. But the person that's then saying the words to you as a child, their opinion changes of the skill because they see that you are dedicating your life to something. You do have, whether it be a crazy six-pack and they like that when you're kids, or you're quicker than them in the 100-meter race because you train your body as an athlete, they soon realize that it's not just like, it's just, he goes and dances. Yes, sometimes when we came with fake tan, it wasn't the best look. I'm not going to lie.
I had a fake tan V on my chest because our shirts were open Vs and I wouldn't want to fake tan everything. So I would literally just fake tan a V on my chest. In the PE changing rooms, it was ridiculous, but I would take the mick out myself and therefore no one could take the mick out of me there.
Yeah, we were fine laughing ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that's...
I knew I looked ridiculous, but I had to do it for my sport, so it's fine.
But then with that resilience that you build up such a hard shell. How easy is it to then break it down and show your true feelings? As two guys, we talk about men's mental health a lot and how guys don't talk. And if you've got this resilience that nothing can be said, how good are you actually dealing with your feelings and opening up when you are struggling?
So it was, I was always taught, and I felt like growing up, like, family are the people that are there for you and will protect you. So if there's anything that you need to speak about, talk about, or are afraid of, talk to your family. That they'll have an open mind and they'll always talk things out. And that's how it was in our family. So I feel like that was always a great relationship in that element. If I ever needed to say something, I wouldn't be afraid to talk to my family. They're the closest people. They have my back, and that's how it should be. So I feel that was really a good coping mechanism to actually be able to open up as well.
I understand what you're saying on you build up such an automated, okay, that's not affect me. I think it comes down to the close circle that you have. I think within our industry and the entertainment industry, and as you grow and become maybe more famous, you go from being famous in our dance world to suddenly 12 million people on Strictly on a Saturday night is a big jump. But the circle that we respected and kept close always stayed very small. And I think that's a protection mechanism. When it comes down to talking about your feelings and simple things, it's hard to, maybe when unfortunately the accident happened a couple of years ago with my girlfriend at the time, and it's like, well, no, I need to talk to somebody. I need to talk to a therapist, and being open to that and being clear that that's not a bad thing. That's something that you have to deal with. And and being open to all these different things. You can't say no to them. And I think that definitely helped me at the time.
I've always had my close friends from school as well. And I would always just, I can be myself around them. I can say what I want, say how I feel, and talk to them in any way that I want to. And I always know they've got my back. So that's always a good coping mechanism for me. I did notice, though, when I came to London, actually, and because all my friends were up north, they weren't there as much, that I wasn't talking. And then it came back to what you were saying. If you're building up a wall, building up this resilience, and how do you talk? I noticed that I wasn't talking as much when I came to London straight away because I was further away from my friends. And then I realized, Curtis, what you're doing, call them up. Just because they're far away doesn't mean you can't still talk to them. So then I noticed I was holding in some emotions. And then as soon as I'd call them up, I got into a habit of doing that. Then it was exactly the same as seeing them. You just rant to them, you have a laugh, they take the mick out of you, and all of a sudden you're good as rain again.
And so you both are coming up to 30. AJ, you're 30 this year. Curtis, you're 30 in a little bit longer, but not too far in the distant future.
Yeah.
So we've kind of talked about in your 20s, the resilience you've built up, the way that you've moved to London, you've found your friends again. How do you look ahead to looking at your 30s and how you want to define them and the changes that you've made in yourselves? You've really felt comfortable within yourselves, but then dealing with fame and the new version of you that have come through being a public figure.
It's crazy how life goes. So when I was younger, I always thought, I'm 28 years old now, I thought I would be happily married with 2 kids right now, living in a family house.
Age 24, that was supposed to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's genuinely what I thought.
Yeah, it
I'd
might
be
be as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm 28, I realize, holy crap, Curtis, you are still so young, even though a hangover takes a little bit longer to recover now. And if I hit the gym, my muscles do ache a bit longer, but I'm still so young. And I wish I didn't think I was so old at the age of 18, 19, and 20 years old. I wish, actually, looking back, I realized and said, Curtis, you're a baby still, even though you feel like you're an adult now. And it's still the same at this age now. So me looking at going into my 30s, I'm actually excited about it because there's still so much that I can do. Male physical peakness isn't until 33 years old, and it's only going to get older.
So I started hitting the gym the other day.
But no, different things like that. Like if you think you're 28 and you haven't hit the gym forever, oh, I'm too old to do it now. No, you're not. You've still got a lot more physical peakness and fitness to come out of it. So just think you're still young. Age is just a number. And don't overlook the 30s. The 30s is still a fun age that you can try new things and do new things. You're just at a different point in your life now.
When it comes down to, maybe this is not so much age, or maybe it's just me and I'm a bit more kind of always being clear in what I want to do. Kind of launching the new business that you referred to, Flint Invest. Like for us, I wanted to have something, because in our entertainment world, it could be, you've got a job today, you don't have a job tomorrow. You may have a job the week after, you may not. Like, it's not guaranteed. And I think it's something that affects mental health a lot, because you don't have that reassurance that you're maybe a regular paycheck that somebody would get if they do a 9-to-5 job, or the aspect of, if you don't know why you're being hired or not hired, it's like, oh, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Your brain could go crazy because you're trying to come up with something that's not there. And usually 99% of the time, you're wrong anyway, because you are. It's about building something that has a legacy to help other people. What we've always done in our dancing has been very competitive, and it helps us, but we also represent the country, and we're very proud of that. And on Strictly, I always thought about my job as being a public servant, in the aspect of it was to entertain 12 million people live on a Saturday and make them forget about all their troubles for 90 seconds. But Strictly is great, but it's not guaranteed, it's not forever. So building a company now that we are building an education suite on the app to help people with their finances. And I've always felt personally, for me, if I'm financially secure, or if I financially set up, you could call it a rainy day fund, an emergency fund, or an investment fund for your pension later down the line, then you're going to be mentally a little bit more resilient, a little bit stronger. So if we can help thousands, millions of people with education and creating a better financial future for yourselves, then that's a legacy that I feel very important that we should really help. Because I honestly feel like, unfortunately, within the school system and the UK government, that is not a priority. And with the way that the budget is going in different things, that won't be a priority, because the budget is just not there, and people are tired in them jobs, and they don't have the time to do what well, private companies like we're going to offer it for free. We're going to help people. And I think that legacy is very important for me personally.
It creates a positive circle of life, that does, because if we're teaching the young about finance education, then when they have kids and they become parents, they can teach their young. And hopefully we start that little bit of a circle going on that people are always learning about it then. Because at the min, schools don't teach it, parents don't know it, so the kids can't learn it from the parents. Therefore, it's a vicious circle of not knowing. And we want to change that around to a positive circle of knowing.
Well, the big problem that you have is no one discusses their salaries because everyone's embarrassed by them or thinks they're either not good enough, they're paid too much. And so no one knows how much money they actually need to spend, how much money to put into savings. And then, as you said, the rainy day fund is like, well, how much do you need? And as we've said, you know, 3 of us are just coming into our 30s or just over our 30s. We haven't got kids, but we're like, well, we're saving up for kids. But then it's like, well, maybe we won't have kids. And then, as you say, AJ, you know, you're doing this stuff now. Then after come what may, you might have a pantomime. Then you might have no work. So you're like, well, I need loads of money for that for January to April. But equally, Strictly could come back or Dance on Ice could come back. And straight away you're going, oh, well, actually, I've been booked now for all these months. I didn't actually need to work so hard on all the other money. So it's such a crazy world, the financial one. I don't know how we ever discuss it until one person says, this is my salary. This is what I do with my money. And someone else goes, yeah, me too, me too, me too. And then we have that actual conversation, but we're not doing that at the moment.
I think the best way for that is for people to not be embarrassed about the situation they are in right now. And the reason I say not be embarrassed is because people are looking at all of these social media situations and seeing massive end products of big luxury lifestyles and this
Which
and that.
half of it is all fake anyway.
Rubbish anyway, half of it. Yeah, it's literally just there for Instagram. And a lot of these big celebrities, they don't even pay for the outfits they're wearing. They're giving them to wear on that one event and then they take them back. They haven't paid £15,000 for that dress.
No.
They've been given it for free to wear for that one occasion and then off. So they're not wasting their money on things like that. And I think people need to realize, don't look at all of that stuff. Just focus on yourself, and wherever you are financially or in your life, that's fine. Now we can improve from this position that you're in. Don't compare yourself to everyone else.
Even like our parents, friends were like, oh, first year Strictly. Well, he's a millionaire straight away. I was like, we get paid a favored nation's wage. If we work out the hours that we'd work from God knows what to God knows when, it's not that good. When somebody said they think you're a millionaire, well, it would take me 25 years to get to them sort of numbers.
We are all looking for validation, and whether it's to do with money or followers or likes, or you then do it on Instagram, then you move to TikTok, then you move to Twitter. How do you feel validated when you're in, for example, the entertainment world and you're being given this paycheck and then, you know, money goes to your agents and PRs, etc.? How do you ever feel that validation? Is it the money you get? Is it the amount of followers you get? Is it the amount of likes you get? Because as we said with people buying their dresses, is people are now paying for likes. People are now paying for followers because they think they need to have these massive high numbers, and it's infinite. You can never get as much money. You can never get as much followers to actually be happy with.
I think the very simple answer to the question is the validation is, for us, setting up a company like Flint, we've been working on it for 2 years, is how we can A, earn a living from it, because we all need to earn a living, but B, educate and help thousands of people. Helping thousands of people is the most rewarding feeling. I've been with billionaires, multi-billionaires, and some of them are happy. Most of them are not happy. Like, they may have a watch on their wrist for £1 million and travel private 24/7, but are they really having the best engagement of their time on this earth? I don't know, to be honest.
And the key thing is, as well, is find something you truly enjoy. And even if it isn't promoting it to the world, it may be building some Lego at home. It may be reading a page of a book. Accomplish them little things that you enjoy doing. And that's how you inside stay fulfilled. Therefore, you don't have to think about all of these other things. You will still be happy because you're sticking to the things you enjoy and not living your life under somebody else's.
And we do so much charity work that we never speak about. Yes, some of it goes on social media, blah, blah.
I love charity
half
work.
of it,
love it.
We never promote. And because it's rewarding to us and them, and it's not about the social media side. Like, we give time. Time is more valuable than money on that side.
To see somebody in not so much of a fortunate situation to laugh, smile, and feel like they've had the best day ever I love to be able to go and experience that with them. You know,
Well, I'm going to do it for you. You've worked with the British Dyslexia Association and Marie Curie World Child. You did an event with my friend Mark Wogan the other week at Home Slice. You're doing a lot of charity work out there. Let's finally talk about Come What May. Beautiful song. I want it as my first dance at my wedding. It's one of my all-time favourite songs. You're touring from the 20th of September to the 24th of October. You're going all around from Loughborough to Skegness, Blackpool, all the way down to Southend and Folkestone to finish off the tour. What can we expect from that show? Because we've obviously got Moulin Rouge in the West End. This is going around London. So what are we going to see from it, boys?
Oh, literally everything. That's the best way to describe it. It's going to be high energy, in your face. All them big, lovely numbers you see on Strictly, the big group numbers. There's going to be solo numbers there and everything. If you love Moulin Rouge, which everyone's heard of it, you're going to love the music in it, like your song, Come What May, for example, and the costumes as well.
And all the fantastic
phenomenal.
musicals, like The Greatest Showman.
Yes, yeah.
Live band, live singers. Obviously, the dancers are fantastic. And we travel to your doorstep. So if you're even up in Aberdeen, unfortunately, we will be doing a very long drive to you, but it's worth it.
We are all over the country, but
on the 15th of October, that is that you're doing that drive.
I like it.
You know your stuff better than we do.
Go on, give me another city. Let me see if I can work out what date you're going on.
Stoke.
27th of September.
29.
I thought it was the 17th.
You went to the 28th. You're in Leicester. 29th. You're in York.
I like it. It sounds confident. To be honest, if we say confident, we'll go with it.
I was going to say, yeah, we don't actually know it. So if you say it confident enough, we'll just nod and smile and say yes.
Newcastle on the 16th of October, Edinburgh 17th of October, 20th of October, Dartford.
Put
All the dates are on
everywhere.
cuffandtaylor.com. Go and check them out. Boys, I can't thank you enough. AJ and Curtis Pritchard up there. And if you love Strictly Come Dancing Not Only, there are professionals including James Jordan, Diane Buswell, and Camilla Sacra-Dullerup, who've been on Skin and Skin from Curtis' series of Love Island, the episodes of Amber Gill, Anton, Bell, Anna, Amy, all in this library of security. So do go and check them out. If you enjoyed today's episode, click that subscribe button, tell a friend, and leave a 5-star rating. And let's keep spreading the word. It's okay to not be okay. I'm Johnny Seifert. Thanks so much for watching or listening. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.